Mic check. Yo.
Yeah, it's the Saints anthem. Umbrellas, we gon' be alright. Umbrellas, cause we got Vilma back. Umbrellas, we gon' be alright. Umbrellas, we gon' get the trophy back. Let me get that hand clap, clap. 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 Let me get that.
What's happening, Saints fans and sports fans? What it is? Look, it's your boy. I'm back, Uncle L. I'm here, but I just want to put a little blog podcast out there. No name yet. We just out here doing this thing right now, trying to get this YouTube up and running. I just left my boy TJ podcast, and basically we were on the same train of thought, thinking the same thing. I was driving home from work, and I was like, yo, I'm really tired of listening to people like Ryan Clark, Lil Wayne, one of my friends who I grew up and went to school with, Vest. I'm going to get Vest on one day. And these guys, they act like New Orleans Saints didn't have fans. Let me cut that off. Let me make sure we not getting any echo in the background. Because they're not Saints fans, they forget to acknowledge the rest of us that were always here. So I got a couple of clips I'm going to share about with Ryan Clark and Lil Wayne sharing their thoughts on the Saints, and it's kind of aggravating to me because they always do that, yo. They always get on the national platform and act like New Orleans Saints fans weren't there. Who you think were there when they were going 2-14? You know, those bags. Yes, we invented the paper bags, and the reason why they had the paper bags is because the reason why they wore the paper bags because they were loyal and they still were going to the games. Look, I remember they're not lying. During those bad days, those bad there were, you know, we as Saint fans, we also had other favorite players because we didn't really have much to look forward to. Man, I grew up, Dalton Hilliard was my favorite player, and I remember getting into arguments and almost fighting because yes, Cowboy fans went to our school. Yeah, I went to school with Cowboy fans who were born in New Orleans, and they liked the Cowboys because the Cowboys were pretty good in the 90s. So, and they used to, Emmitt Smith was the best running back. But me as a Dalton Hilliard fan, that was the first jersey I ever had, was a 21 Dalton Hilliard jersey. And I wore it so much that the number started peeling off. And I would wear that jersey to school, and I'll get teased about wearing that jersey. So that part is kind of right. Like when they talk about Saint, we did have a lot of people, but the city was always behind the Saints. I grew up in the Nightwater across the canal, and Fats Domino, for those that remember Fats Domino, they know he had the only black and gold house in the city. Yeah, Fats Domino house was black and gold and across the canal on Caffin. So yeah, we did that. But I'm going to play some of these videos just to get this. I'm not going to do a pretty long podcast, just a little something to put it out there to get this YouTube channel up and running. I'm going to share it on some of my group pages, on some of my pages, just to let you guys know that we're gonna get this thing going. But here's what Ryan Clark had to say on After Further Review with Matt Moscano.
You know, he didn't necessarily say he was a huge Saints fan either.
Okay, listen to him. He's starting off right now. Let me frame this. He's starting off by discussing how Tyrann Mathieu, who said it was a dream to play for the Saints, but didn't technically say he was a Saints fan. So he's trying to get some affirmation that everyone weren't Saint fans. So let him go.
Culture, and then what the Saints mean to the city. What can you elaborate just a little bit more on that version of Tyrann, going home?
Yeah, I think, he didn't necessarily say he was a huge Saints fan either. He said he always liked the way they played and the way they did business. I think for some of us who didn't get to grow up in the glory days of Drew Brees and Sean Payton, it was hard to be a Saints fan.
True.
That's
You
true.
know, I don't know a lot of people that were Saints fans the way they are now from back in the day. Like I got some uncles that were like that.
Okay, now you heard how you framed that? I don't know a lot of people who were Saints fans from back in the day. But I got some uncles. See, that's what they do. Because they're not Saints fans, they act like that. His uncle's fandom that doesn't even count. They're my uncles. They're supposed to like the Saints. No, that's not how it worked. We still liked our team, even though we were bad. We loved our team. Growing up important. Okay, let me frame it another way. When you grew up in an important neighborhood, you can't really afford to go to games like that. So we would wait, listening to the radio, watch the news to make sure we get the score, because that's how we followed our team. Because we didn't really have the money to go to games. There were certain programs where certain times, like I remember I shared on TJ podcast how there was a time where I think it was there was a Pepsi Cola there was like a fair, the Super Fair that came to the Superdome, a Pepsi Cola Super Fair. And what happened is during that, there was a fair that went on at the Superdome, whatever. Okay, and during that time, like students because I'm a nerd, as you can tell. I'm a nerd, so I was on the honor roll a lot. And when you had good grades in school, you would get like 2 tickets. There were some things they would get like because of Pepsi Cola. So you would get to go to the Super Fair where all you need to bring was a proof of a Pepsi Cola purchase and your certificate of honor roll. And certain times there were like different things, different promotions where honor roll students, we were in the nosebleeds. You went to a game with your honor roll certificate and your Pepsi Cola and your Pepsi can as a proof of purchase. But we just pick up a can off the ground and your just proof of purchase and your honor roll certificate. You're sitting in the nosebleeds, but you got to experience the game. And that's how someone like me, who grew up not really financially stable, was able to go to some games. I didn't go to a lot of games as a kid. I go to more games now. I don't even live in New Orleans. I live in Texas, and I still go to Saints games now, and I don't even live in New Orleans. I go to more now than I've ever done as a kid. But when we did go and we went to different Tulane games, Tulane had different promotions like that as well. Like TJ said on his podcast, State of the Saints podcast. Y'all need to check him out on YouTube. Good dude, good solid dude. New Orleans born and bred. He's doing big things, and I can't wait to see him explode in this media market, especially how he represents our Saints. So I'm going to always shout him out. But like he talked about on his podcast, we went to different Tulane games, the Greenway games. I got to see the UNO Privateers when they had a basketball team. Like certain things like that. When you were an honor roll student, you got certain privileges like that. You got to do that and go to those things like that. But back to the Saints. I'm going to let Ryan Clark spew his nonsense again.
Of Drew Brees and Sean Payton, it was hard to be a Saints fan.
True.
I don't know a lot of people that were Saints fans the way they are now from back in the day. Like I got some uncles that were like that, but not everybody. Which was why it was always hard for me to be around obnoxious Saints fans because, no, I'm just being serious, because like I remember when y'all sucked and none of y'all liked the Saints. And so I think like that's the thing. I think that's the thing.
I did too.
And so
I had other favorite players.
My last year in the league, I was just
okay. Now he's gonna go on. I don't even want to hear him talk anymore. He's gonna go and spill about how his last year in the league, just because he was born in New Orleans, he kind of felt the pride of that, the fact that they were going to give him a shot to sign him for his last year. But man, listen. I know people that grew up in New Orleans, born and raised like myself, that weren't Saints fans. And that's okay. I have no problem with that. I live in Dallas, and I know people that live in Dallas right now who hate the Cowboys. And it's okay. So I'm not saying that because you grew up in New Orleans and you're not a Saints fan that there's an issue. The issue is you were acting like we weren't there the whole time. We weren't there with the number 3 jerseys representing Bobby Hebert. Like my uncles and aunts who weren't there. My mom, who used to yell at the radio. We would sit on, when there were blackout games, we would sit on a porch, and my mom, we listening to the radio, and in the neighborhood, we're listening to that's how we enjoyed the game. We sat on the porch and listened to the radio. And I remember my mom, those of you who don't know, my mom she has a sailor's mouth. My mom would be cursing Bobby Aber out, man. And I'm telling you, man, he would get it. He would be getting it because that's how we enjoyed the Sunday games. We listened to it on the radio. And yes, we had different favorite players. Like my YouTube channel's name is Primetime Sports and Gaming because my favorite all-time player is Deion Sanders. Also because of number 21. That was the number I always wanted if I was to ever become a football player because Dalton Hilliard first, then Deion Sanders. Now, that's just the way it was. So, but with that being said, I'm going to let Lil Wayne say why he's not a Saints fan. I think this audio is not the best, but I'm going to play it anyway.
Been a Packers fan. My father, my great late father, he went to his first Super Bowl in 1997 when the Packers was in the Super Bowl in the Superdome. And when he came home that night, he just came home with a bunch of Packers, everything, Packers towels, Packers cups, and so and I'm from the hood, so we use those cups as dishes. Like we use those cups. So I remember we had those cups Packers too. Cup for years. So I've been a Packers fan for years, and I would get the John Madden game, and Brett Favre was on the front of the cover, and I've been a Packers fan, and I don't want to be one of those Saints fans that just became a Saints fan when they went to the Super Bowl. Everybody know the Saints been terrible for a long time, so I've been a Packers fan, man.
So final.
See, I can respect that. I can respect that viewpoint. He was a Packers fan because he didn't want to be affiliated with the fact that the Saints were losing, and I have no problem with that. I have a buddy of mine, man. We graduated together, high school. He's a Dolphin fan. Man, this dude been a Dolphin fan since we were kids. I remember this. We weren't really that close as kids, but we went to the same school, so I knew of him and knew about him. But as we got older, we have some of the same affiliations, same things. So we're more close as adults. But I remember this dude being a Dolphins fan, having a Dolphins starter jacket back in the day. So I remember that. So I know people, I know dudes right that were 49er fans growing up. That one of my best friends growing up was a diehard I'm talking about diehard 49er fan that would spew out stats about John Taylor and Jerry Rice like I'm talking about just knowing their statistics because he was that deep. So I have no issue with you not being a Saints fan just because you were born in New Orleans. My issue is the fact that you fail to acknowledge the fact that the diehards have been there. And as winning goes, the fandom increases. So I have no problem with the new 2006 fans, the 2009 fans. I have no problem with them for the simple fact that as you win, you get more fans. That's a part of it. So that's my little spiel on that. Man, listen, when you hear Ryan Clark and you hear other haters talk about that no one was Saints fans, talk to your people. Talk to people and let them know. And know what? You get in those comments and let them know you were there. You were there. You remember Dalton Hilliard. You remember Ironhead Hayward. I'm going to tell you, we used to play a game growing up where it's like, I don't know what certain people might call it. We called it pitch up tackle. And we would throw it up. And my little cousin named David, and David's going to watch this. He's going to comment. My little cousin David has the most humongous head ever. We nicknamed him Ironhead after Ironhead Craig Hayward just for the simple fact that that's who we reminded us of. That's who we could have named him Jerome Bettis, or we could have named him some other Mike Allstott. No, he was Ironhead because we were with the Saints, man. My next door Dave, I don't want to. Let me stop name drop because I was about to name drop some people, but I'm not going to do that right now. But one of my closest friends I grew up with, father was on a radio station, and he used to also bring me to the games. I still remember stuff like that. But yeah, I'm just letting you guys know, man. When you hear these national media guys and these guys with big platforms, and they talk about the fact that just because they're not Saints fans, they didn't see Saints fans. We were there. We were there. We had other favorite players. We liked other teams. Our team didn't get a lot of TV time during those times because we couldn't sell out the dome for the simple fact that we do live in a small market, and the city had a lot of poverty back in those days. But the economy is rising, and there's a lot more support now. So we don't get any black. Now we're getting those primetime spots, and we're killing it in the ratings. So You're going to see us a lot. Even when we go to London this year, you're going to see. I know people right now that's in England that are waiting for the Saints. And shout out when you see this, when I share this somewhere. Let me know, how long have you been a Saint fan? Let me know also, where are you from? Are you from overseas? Are you from England, Germany, London? Are you from Asia, Africa, South America? Where are you from? Let people like Ryan Clark know, Lil Wayne know, and other people that you may know that have New Orleans lineage, heritage, but they don't represent the Saints. So I'm going to leave it like this, y'all. Black and gold to the Super Bowl. That's all I wanted to talk about right now. I might do something a little bit later. I'm going to expand this thing. We're going to get some guests on here, but we're going to get this thing popping. But we're going back to the Super Bowl, baby. We're going back to the Super Bowl. Next time you hear someone like Ryan Clark and Lil Wayne talk about where were you? I was right there when Aaron Brooks was throwing the ball backwards. And you know what? You see me in the comments right now. Every time our fans are criticizing Aaron Brooks, what am I doing? I'm reminding you that he was the first quarterback in Saints history to win a playoff game. I'm not going to let you forget that. I was there when we traded for Steve Walsh and we had the song Steve Walsh Baby. I thought Steve Walsh was going to be a beast. He sucked, but I was behind him. I was there when Jim Everett came and Jerome called him Chris Everett and he punched Jerome in the face. Come on, man. I remember these days. I remember. These are my Saints. I remember those days. Who else? Listen up, man. The Cajun, Cannon, Bobby Abel, that's my guy, man. I used to love Bobby Abel, man. When he went to the Falcons, I think I cried. But we just didn't want him. But I know he's a Saint. He's a Saints, man, through and through. But when he went to the Falcons, man, I almost cried, man. I couldn't believe Bobby Abel had a Falcons jersey on. But check it out, y'all. I'm out of here.